you literally believe that all the archaeological findings that we excavate and we find, different cities or villages or, temples or whatever, that they're new, they're 200 years old and someone buried them and tried to make them look old?
Maybe in some cases they buried them. I think some of these so-called ancient sites have actually been created by by relatively contemporary people. So, for example, there's this place called Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which was supposedly discovered, I think, in the 60s or the 70s. I think they could have just created it then and there as a future tourist destination, similar to some of these ancient sites in other parts of Europe and South America. They say, oh, guys, we discovered this ancient ruins. Okay, maybe they were discovered. Maybe these ancient ruins were buried and people discovered them. Maybe they just created them for tourist purposes, because there's a lot of tourism money in these ancient sites. Why does anyone go to Egypt? People do not go to Egypt for the local culture. Speak to anyone who's been to Egypt. Most of them will tell you, especially women, that they had a horrible experience in Egypt. They didn't really like the people, the culture. Okay, so why'd they go? Oh, to see the ancient pyramids. Yeah? These ancient sites captivate people, and they will spend money on tourism. They'll fly there. They'll spend money on hotels. They'll spend money on food. They'll put their money into the economy. This is a very lucrative thing, these ancient sites. And here's another thing. In Egypt, so you have a government, and a government will have different ministries. So a ministry for health, a ministry for defense, a ministry for education. In Egypt, the same ministry is responsible for tourism. That same ministry is also responsible for antiquities. In other words, places like the pyramids of Giza. So can you see the conflict of interest here? The people whose job is to help Egypt attract tourists, they also happen to be the people responsible for all of these new discoveries. What an amazing coincidence. Isn't that incredible? Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's funny when you state it like that.
It's a theme park. Ancient Egypt, these pyramids, Giza, it's a theme park. So people will spend money to fly to Florida to go to Disney World or Disneyland, whatever it's called. And they fully understand that this theme park they're going to has been constructed for their amusement. It's an amusement park. And they will pay lots of money to go there and to take their children there and to take photos. And in the future, they'll look back at their photos and they'll say, hey, didn't we have lots of fun meeting Mickey Mouse and all these things? Those people are fully aware they're going to an amusement park. People who go to the pyramids, they think they're going to some historical site of significance. And thousands of years ago, there were these little ancient Egyptians who were somehow moving these big blocks of stone and creating these amazing pyramids. No, it's an amusement park. But it's an amusement park that pretends that it's thousands of years old. But it has the same effect. People pay their money, they go, they spend, they take their photos, they have the stories to tell, they get back home. People are like, oh, how was Egypt? Oh, it was amazing. I got to see the pyramids. I got to ride a camel. Same thing as going to Disneyland and seeing Mickey Mouse and riding on a roller coaster. Same thing.
Yeah. I'll tell you a couple of issues with this theory that I have. Some sites, some archaeological sites, were not discovered. They were never lost. They were always there. The pyramid is one of them. The Parthenon in Athens is also another one. It was never lost and then rediscovered.